All right, guys, it's Brandon LeCaren here, and today we are talking about what is the easiest and really almost free ways to find deals in 2024. And I have some options here that you guys could all utilize, whether you're scared of, cold calling, or maybe you're just like, you know what, I don't care about cold calling, whatever comfort level you're at. Deals opportunities will be sure to find you deals as long as you're consistently doing them. And here's the thing. Everything works, right? However, it's all about the consistency. And when I say consistency, I'm talking to myself as well. But being consistent is so important when you're finding deals or when you're looking for deals and you're marketing for deals. It kind of like builds up over time, because a lot of the times people don't remember you. So you constantly have to remind them like, hey, I am a real estate investor. I will buy your house, with an all cash offer, that kind of thing. And some of these methods, and I'll kind of highlight some of them, but they work really well like when you layer them actually. So let's just jump into it and you guys will see exactly what I mean. But I really hope this is helpful to you. Hey guys, hit the subscribe button below, by the way. Love for you guys to be and see my next videos, but let's jump into it. So the first one is driving for dollars. This is almost free, it just costs you gas, right? So what I like to do in this method is, you drive around a neighborhood and you look for really the house that may have some stuff that's overgrowing on it. The landscape is not maintained. Maybe the shutters are falling off the face of it. It needed to be pressure washed 10 years ago, that kind of thing. And you could, that's a good house. So then you could write down that address and you could say, okay, I'm going to go back and look up, try to find out the owner's information. And a great way to find out people's information is called truepeoplesearch.com. Truepeoplesearch.com. It's a free way to find out people's numbers. Obviously, comply with federal do not call list and stuff like that. So the thing about it is when you drive for dollars, you're going to find a lot of houses that should have been maintained and they're not. So you're looking for houses that really are not maintained, or maybe they're just really in bad shape, right? There's some deferred maintenance clearly, and the owners didn't really take care of it, that kind of stuff. And you could go knock on those doors. Sometimes there's people living there. Sometimes there may not be people living there. But a lot of times you'll find that people are not living there, or they may not even answer the door, especially the front door, because they generally is covered with moss and, stuff, debris or whatever. But driving for dollars is a great way. Drive around a neighborhood, look for the house in the neighborhood that needs the most work, and you can knock on the door, or, go back and write down the address and, call them later. The next method is calling real estate agents. So real estate agents' numbers are online everywhere, right? They love taking calls. I'm one, I like taking calls. And, ask them, you call them up and you say, hey, look, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking for deals. Do you have anything in your pipeline that you wouldn't want to put on the market, right? I know we have one coming up where I don't know that we are going to put it on the market because it's just in such bad shape, and it's going to take about over $100,000, $150,000 to renovate it. So it's really important to call them and network. And the thing again with this is really just being consistent with them. So, call them every quarterly and say, hey, realtor, do you guys have any deals that might be off market, or you don't want to sell? You can still make your commission. I just want to be the first buyer, right? I want to be your go-to buyer. And what you could do is say, look, if you bring me a deal, if you find me a deal that's off market that I purchase, you get to list this property. When I fix it up and I flip it, or maybe you put it up for rent, you're doing burst strategy, you get to list this property, which is a really cool way of them going out and then working for you. So great resource. Again, they want to find deals. They want to create deals as well. And you could just give them a reason to create deals. Then the next thing is door knocking. So again, you could layer this with, driving for dollars. Maybe you just want to canvas a certain neighborhood. Maybe you just want to work on, just Alexandria specifically, or maybe you're in Memphis, or maybe you're in Houston, whatever. And you're just going to go canvas a certain neighborhood because you like that price point. That's what you could afford. And those houses really well. So you could go door knock each house and then just say, hey, are you thinking about selling? Are you open to a cash offer on your house? That kind of thing. And the cool thing about this is, let's say you find somebody that's not a good fit for you, then you can go back to that real estate agent that's been helping you and, offer some sort of like opportunity where, hey, I could collect a marketing fee because like I'm bringing you a listing essentially, right? So those are great opportunities, and you can couple that with driving for dollars. If you see something, you can stop and get out of your car and knock, right? And the thing with door knocking is I like to do, especially when you're driving for dollars, is leave a note. So, I have like sticky notes I will write out and say, hey, like, would you accept a cash offer on your house? Call me, 123, whatever your number is. And you just stick that on the door, and maybe they call you, maybe they don't. And at the same time, you go back and try to find them on truepeoplesearch.com and phone them up, right? So that's a great way to do it. That's just kind of like really like the gritty, the calls and stuff like that. Another thing is calling expired listings. So expired listings are listings that didn't really sell on the market the first time, and they come off the market. And guess what? The sellers are really mad at their real estate agents, right? So what you could do is, again, go to truepeoplesearch.com and find out where those, figure out what their numbers are and say, hey, like, I'm an investor, like, would you take an all cash offer, right? Because they are so mad at real estate agents when their house comes off the market. It's not even funny. We call it expired. So like, I know, trust me. And they might be open to it, right? Like a lot of times they might be open to a cash offer, right? Especially most of the time houses don't sell because of the condition or price, right? And every condition has a price. And if the condition of the house is like terrible and it's overpriced for the market, they don't understand that. They think it's the real estate agent's fault for not selling, but they didn't want to drop the price, or maybe the agent wasn't smart enough to, tell them, hey, look, we got to drop the price here. The market's telling us we got to drop. So you could be that guy that goes in, or gal, and say, hey, look, like, this is where you're at. I'm willing to give you no hassle, all cash. Are you in, right? So those are great opportunities to jump on expired listings. And again, you can find people's information on truepeoplesearch.com. Obviously, comply with do not call lists. I'm not telling you guys to not comply with that. So next thing is circle prospecting. So this is when we start getting into sort of like the paid, right? Like you could pay a service like Mojo. You can get Vulcan. You can get RedX. Like those are all options where you could buy data from, and they'll actually pull the numbers for you. And you could just search out a specific neighborhood and just circle prospect. In those services, you could even set it up to where like, hey, I only want this certain level of equity, or I want them to have owned this house for X amount of time. So circle prospecting is still a great way. Like I do a ton of circle prospecting because I think it's cool. Like, you get to meet some really interesting people and it's fun. I love cold calling. I know, like, and I don't think I'll do it forever, but it's like, it's one of those things where I don't mind. I could just put on the dialer, the auto dialer, and it just automatically calls, and it's great. So that's the other thing too, but having a dialer, and we're getting into the paid stuff now, but it could be about $100, $150 a month, including data, which is not bad. So you get one deal a year, and from that, it pays for itself, right? So the thing about it is, like, you could, have an auto dialer, you could dial lines, and you could just stay on the phone, and you could, answer emails or do other stuff while you got that thing calling, versus you picking up each number and then, typing it in, beep, 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 like whatever. So it's a great way to just kind of conserve time, and it auto dials. So you're not wasting time dialing each number by, finger dialing or whatever it's called. So the next thing too is called FSBOs. For sale by owners, we like to call them FSBOs for whatever reason, but for sale by owners, a lot of times, like, they're selling because they don't trust an agent, or they think that they can sell for themselves. And I will tell you, this statistics is crazy, but almost every for sale by owner take a 12% discount on their property when they sell the property by themselves. And I know this because I've represented buyers buying for sale by owner houses where they pay me a commission as well, but they take a bath on the house. Like, they take a 12% discount on average when a for sale by owner is successful in selling their house. So just think about that. You could get a house like already almost at 12% discount just because, like, they think they're great negotiators, but in reality they're not. So this is a good way to find deals. You can pick up deals. There was one recently where we almost bought, but we found it for sale by owner. The house was terribly bad shape. There were multiple offers on this one because it was in such bad shape, and it was in a great location, but we didn't get it. And it was a good house though. Like, but there's opportunities like this where it was a dilapidated house. The guy didn't live there, inherited the house, and just wanted to sell it, and he just put it on Zillow, right? So Zillow has a feature where you could search only for sale by owner. So go check out Zillow.com, and you will see exactly like where you could check, like, I think it's in the for sale, like, and then you hit that drop down, you check like everything, uncheck everything, but just leave for sale by owner checked. And it pulls up all their data, and you scroll through the listing, you'll find their number, and you can reach out to them. That's like a really good way, free way to reach out to sellers, right? Because they raised their hands and said, I want to sell, right? And again, like, remember that statistic, like 12% lower than market value for their properties. The next thing is mailing. So mailing is when you start getting a little, like we do start racking up some money here, right? But typically, like, what you could do with mailers is you could mail absentee owners. Absentee owners are owners that don't live in their current property. They're essentially just investors. Maybe they have one or two properties in the area, and maybe they live in Florida, like, and they just have an investment property. Well, a lot of times if you mail them, they can call you. They will call you and say, it's a simple mailer, right? You just say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to buy a house. Like, are you interested in a cash offer? I just represented, because I circle prospected absentee owners, and that's the other thing with circle prospecting. You can call only absentee owners, right? So I called absentee owners, and I picked up one. I found a deal. The guy was like, yep, I'll sell it with the renter in there. I found an investor that wanted to buy it. We sold it to the investor off market. So it's all about creating opportunities and finding deals. And these are some great ways. And again, like, you may want to layer some of these, right? So if you're not circle prospecting, I probably wouldn't mail, right? If you're, because mailing it could be expensive, right? And the cheapest way I would say is driving for dollars, calling real estate agents, door knocking, because that's just your time. But then again, what is your time worth, right? Calling for sale by owners, circle prospecting, right? And then we start getting into the paid stuff, circle prospecting, calling expired listings. Like, some of these services also have expired data. And then mailing would probably be the most expensive, but little to no cost, right? You could get in for about 80 cents a mailer if you just, print out black and white page and, put a stamp on a regular envelope and mail it out. So I hope these methods were super helpful. Hit the subscribe button below, by the way. But these are great ways to find deals off market. And I would love to hear about your deals that you're finding, or the methods that you guys are using to find deals, because I'm always open to learning. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button below, like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.